So your parents or your aunts or uncle or cousins have finally loaned you that wonderful box of old family photos. Yay! And you open it and start looking through it. Feeling a little overwhelmed? Let me walk you through what to do. Now, I'm Beth Saunders. I'm Creative Memories Advisor. I'm an archives associate and a family genealogist. So, as an archives person, my first instinct is to keep these in order. But sometimes you get things just thrown in a box. They didn't have an original order, and what you need to do is ask permission. Let me tell you the story of this box of photos. If you remember in my last video, I talked about a wonderful box of photos and mementos, all kinds of things that came from, we call it the home place, my grandparents' house, which had multiple generations of things in it. Since then, I've received a box of things for me to keep, so it's a little lower priority in time than this third box, which came to me from the home place as a loan. And one of the reasons I borrowed it, this was over a year ago, was because my aunt was in a rehab facility and it was something we could go through together. So I didn't take this whole box of wonderful old photos, some vintage, some antique, to the rest home. I would put a handful, and I tried to keep everything in order. So I would put a handful of photos in this Power Simple sleeve with a photo labeling pencil, and my aunt and I would go through them and write things on the back. So it was a great project for us to do together, something that she enjoyed and I enjoyed, and it was our, part of our weekly visits. Well, I didn't want to scan everything in here. I wasn't sure. Some of the family photos, as sort of the family genealogist, eventually come to me, and I like to put them in photo albums. I'm nothing against scanning, but in case you don't know or I haven't told you before, I am the daughter of a photographer, and I inherited boxes of negatives, plus the family genealogy. I have boxes of photos, boxes of negatives, and I can get pretty overwhelmed. By the way, I'm not retired. I have my archives job, so I need to prioritize things that I'm going to scan because the way I scan is a little time consuming. And we're going to talk about that in a future video, just the basic how-tos of scanning and what you want to do when you really want to preserve something for future generations. So, my aunt passed away a couple of months ago, and I still have the box, and I was like, well, what do I do? So I talked with my cousins. One of her children was like, I'm fine with them being at your house because you know how to take care of them. Of course, she's interested in the pictures, and we want to somehow figure out a way to share them. Her other child, I invited him over because he hadn't seen what was in the box. He didn't live at the home place. And I pulled out one picture, I don't think it's handy here, of our grandfather training dogs. And it was so emotional. I was like, okay, we all need these pictures. We need to figure out a way to share them, and scanning is going to be the best way. So I started talking to him about having copies made, and he, I don't think he owns a computer. I could see that he was getting very overwhelmed. So I said, don't worry about it. I'll handle it. I don't know I don't remember what I said, but I'm the one that knows how to take care of them, and I'm the one that knows how to scan them. None of us have lots and lots of time, and maybe the one person in our family that is retired in my generation thinks that scanning is putting them on your printer. So what we're going to do today is, since I just don't have time to do all of them, we're going to triage. We're going, and by the way, I have permission now to sort them. Like I said, I tried very hard to keep things in order, and now I can arrange them in a way that makes sense, and so we can find things, and so I can decide what's the most important thing to spend my time on. I'm going to sort these today into our 12 by 12 FileMate. I'll just let you know, at the time of this video, these have just gone last chance. So there's a link in the show notes, and if they sell out, I will update the links. But you can also use Power Simple sleeves, like I have these pictures in. These are open on two sides, so it's easy to slide big pictures in without crumpling them, or Power Simple pockets, which I'll show you in a minute. The first thing I like to do is bend this big lid backwards just to make it easier to work with. And there are labels. I think there are 13 pockets, 12 dividers in here. There are labels to go in here, but I'm not going to keep everything in here permanently. I'm actually going to put some of the items in an older version of this to give to my cousin, and some of the smaller items are going to go in a power sort. This is a power sort that actually started with my aunt, and right now it's got a lot of her modern pictures in it. So I'm just gonna, I'll rearrange things after I get them sorted. So let's dive in. For today's purposes, I'm going to use sticky notes instead of the labels, since I know that I'm going to rearrange things later. And one of the labels is going to be all of us. When I and my cousins are together, that's really going to be the priority for things that I need to scan, because we all want it, and our grandparents. So all of us right there, and then each sibling, and our grandparents, Papa and Mama. You can guess I've been dying to get the pictures out of this old worn out box. It has really seen better days. Okay, so the first pack is going to be oh man, that's our great grandmother. Okay, and so this is going to be all of us, I think. Oh my goodness, that is all of us with our grandparents. And yes, that is my aunt and my mom. So really quickly, I'm just going to keep these in here for the moment and put them in the one labeled all of us. You see, I added, while you weren't looking, I added a church category because, as I said, my dad was a photographer, and so I know there are a lot of church-related things in here. Okay, we labeled this. Ah, that's so cute, my cousins. Okay, so I'm going to put that, well, okay. So I was trying to keep these together. Oh, and another thing I did. This is acid-free buffered paper that it's like copy paper, but you have to special order it. So I took some things out of one of those icky envelopes and labeled it on the paper. But I don't think these were developed all at the same time. I think somebody just threw these in the envelope. So that's our great-grandparents and my uncle. And if I keep this together, and I may separate it, and that's my cousin, and I bet his family, I mean my mom's cousin, I bet his family would love to have that. For right now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to put it in, no, I'm not going to put it in all of us. I think my cousin was really looking for that picture of her mom in a basketball uniform, so I am going to divide these up
but I'll do that off video because there are a lot of them, a lot of dividing to do. Okay, and that's an empty envelope. Oh, that is the envelope that all these were in. So here's something that you can do. With, I showed you the Power Simple sleeve. We also have Power Simple pocket pages. Grab some. And I don't have a clear one handy. These are some that you can get in a bundle of our Simple Page kits. So instead of being open on two sides, it's just open at the top. And what you can do is, I'm trying to hold them on the edges and not on the face here, is you can put your pictures in the sleeve and then put the mementos or ephemera that would damage the pictures, but you want to keep it. You can put all of that into one of these pockets. It's hard to do when I'm holding up. So, there we go. A little easier, a little harder when you're doing it for video, but the point is you can put your pictures in that sleeve inside this folder, this file mate, and then put your ephemera in the same pocket so that you can keep up with it, but it doesn't touch the pictures and it doesn't harm them. This looks like a really old photo service, 1945. Wow. And it's addressed to my mom. But it's not just my mom's pictures. It's our grandfather, my uncle, my cousins. So again, that is all of us. And I will definitely take those out of the envelope. But for right now, I'm just showing how I'm going to sort it. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot in the all of us category. Okay, there's our great-grandparents, and I don't have a pocket yet for cousins. So I'm going to put this under our grandparents, and I'll make a pocket for other cousins in a moment. Ephemera. This is probably my uncle's, so I'm going to put that under Oscar. And I know that this is a picture from church because we did do a lot of church events last year with our 100th anniversary. And I'm going to put that under church. Oh, wow. And that is hunting. That almost looks like a painting. And I don't know who those people are, but that is my grandparents, my mom, and my uncle. So we'll put this with my grandparents. Ah, wasn't she pretty? I know when you're actually doing these things, sometimes you just slow down and appreciate or reminisce a little bit. Papa and my mom. Another envelope. And I will be getting rid of these envelopes when I take the time to document if there's any information on them. Actually, there's no information on that one. So that's the picture that moved my cousin so much. It's our grandfather working. And he teaches the dogs to point, and that dog's tail is pointing so well he could hang his hat on it. So, and that's our great-grandfather. Wow. All right. So I'm going to put these with my grandparents. What is this? And that is my grandfather, with a cigar. He quit smoking later in life, so which I'm thankful for. And I won't need that envelope anymore. Yay! Getting rid of an old envelope. There are some certificates, mementos for my uncle. I'll put those here. This is my aunt's dog, my cousin, and that will be all of us. Okay. My uncle, which is my aunt's husband, goes there. And my other uncle played football in high school. I think these are all his. He was actually on the yearbook group and was a superlative. So these are going to go into an album for him. So that's him, that's him, that's him. Okay. And that's him. Okay. Negatives. We will probably do a future video on negatives, but I can just see that this is my parents' wedding, and the really impressive thing to me is that it's in color. All of their pictures that I've ever seen were not in color, so I really do want to scan and print that out. Old tissue paper, we just don't need. Okay, it's my mom's cousin. I don't know who that is. That is my great aunt and her brother, my great uncle. And I think that's my great uncle and aunt. I'm not sure who that is. I'm going to keep these together for now. But I don't know. They look like they were printed at different times. And I'll have to think about those. Might go with my mom's cousins. Newspaper with my great aunt. I'm going to put that over here. And an empty photo holder. We don't need that. This feels like a diploma. I think I looked at that before, and it's a school diploma. Put that in Oscar's things. I'm putting, since I don't have enough simple sleeves right now, I'm putting the ephemera in the back of the pocket, and I'm putting the pictures in the front of the pocket so that their faces aren't touching any of this old paper. Oh, color. Probably from the 60s, one of our trips when we were little. Look at that car. Okay. I'm not sure. I think that's my aunt. And maybe a lower priority since they're more modern. Newspaper. We've talked about that in our previous things. And I'm going to have to look at that some more because I don't recognize any of them. Actually, it's probably my uncle. We're just going to put all the football things in my uncle's file. And see, I told you I hung out with my aunt all last year. I would not have known that that was a great aunt of mine, Aunt Clara. Just looking at this picture, I would have no idea who she was. So that was wonderful, the time we spent together. It's even got the date on it. But I'll put this over here with their cousins. And that is that's the home place. That's where these pictures came from. So that is, it's either all of us or Pap-on Memo. That's our great-grandparents, my uncle. And that's a nice picture of my uncle. I don't really need to keep this frame. When I make his album, I'm going to toss this frame because you see this picture is so faded. Wow. Okay, so put that back here. And then I need to make another file for my great-grandparents. And then I'll put these great aunts and uncles in here. Senior class invitation, 1954. That's a blank envelope, so so I don't think I'll keep it. It's kind of falling apart. And that would be my uncle. And I think this is an empty envelope. It's to my uncle, but I don't think there's any important information on it, so I'm going to recycle that. This envelope has the name of the company where my father worked, so that might be worth keeping and maybe just cutting out the name. And that's my mom. Okay. Oh, it's so shiny. I'm trying really hard not to touch the surface there. If you do accidentally touch these pictures, or you're working with somebody that doesn't know how to handle them, then if you have a photo polishing cloth, you can use that. I'm just going to fold this and put it in the back. But also, if you don't have a photo polishing cloth, you can use cotton. You can use just a plain cotton makeup remover pad, and you can wipe the fingerprints off the surfaces of your pictures. Okay. And here are a lot of small pictures that are probably my uncle's friends from high school. So I'm just going to sort through these and put them in there. Fish fry. And that's my grandparents. My cousin. So that'll eventually, I think anything that's under my grandparents, all of us will want, but I'm just going to put this with my grandparents. And then some more ephemera. Guess that's our great uncle. So I made this other category for extended family. Oh, I remember this because I looked through it with my aunt. These are football plays. Martinsville Speedway. All that is my uncle's. And another graduation announcement. 1954. With another envelope that's falling apart. Now looks, for some reason, looks like my grandfather in a tree, and I don't think we'll ever know what was going on. I have a lot of newspaper clippings that I will go through separately. Does this have a date on it? No. Some of these envelopes are really great to have a date on them. Ah, Niagara Falls. Okay, that's probably my uncle. Yes, that's him. So that was a trip he went on. Get rid of that one. We'll get rid of this one eventually. There. And napkin with, football banquet, 1953-54. I don't know if I'll use that in his album or not. We'll put it here. And a reunion. It was similar to some of the things we went through in that other box. More pictures. Negatives. Okay. A truck. Okay, I will look at those later. More negatives. More negatives. Okay. These are some funeral pictures. So extended family. Some of my cousins. More funeral pictures. These sleeves, usually I see negatives in them. These are definitely not archival, and I will take the pictures out of them and put them with extended family. So funeral pictures. Sometimes it's nice if you don't have a picture of that great-great-grandparent or great aunt or uncle at all, and I believe that's my great-grandmother there. In the stone, I recognize the church where they're buried, but you know, you definitely don't want to put those in an album. Maybe you just want to keep them in a power sort, keep them for historical purposes, like we take pictures of tombstones when we go around and do genealogy, but you don't have to make something pretty out of them. It's just for the record. These will go, my cousins will go with my aunt's folder, and for some reason there are a lot of funeral pictures. Negatives, my cousin, and I don't know who this is. This is my great aunt. Put that with extended family. Put this with Uncle Oscar's trips. And as you see, I'm putting a lot of memories into this. I recognize people. Again, my aunt and I wrote on the backs of some of them. But imagine after me, or if I grow old and forgetful, none of our younger folks will know who these people are. Nobody would know that that is my mom's cousin, and I know her name, you know. So, but the generation after me, they won't know. So every generation has information that we don't want to lose, and that is just the coolest picture of my grandparents. You know what? We don't need this old paper folder, so I'm going to take that out and recycle it. It doesn't have any information on it, and put it with my grandparents. And that was in this bag. Recycle that. This feels like negatives. No, huh? Okay. Are there any dates? That's just kind of fun. It is school pictures. Wow. But anyhow, that's my uncle. So let me just stick that in here. My great-grandparents. A recipe. I'm not really sure whose recipe this is. So, I think I will put it with my grandparents. Maybe one of my cousins will know. Empty. Make sure. Empty. Let's see. Peppo, Oscar. A card from my aunt and uncle and cousins, probably to my uncle, but I'm going to put it with my aunt. Yeah, it was to him. What a nice picture. I think that's before their brother was born. Another invitation. I'm going to ditch the envelope. Maybe we will consolidate these invitations when I get it all together. My uncle, that is really, it's got some foxing, which is what happens with old paper, and the cardboard touching the picture has not done it any favors. It is not pasted in, so I'm just going to take that out and throw away the frame. Cousin. It's probably my uncle's, but I don't think I'm going to keep that. Okay. Here is a negative, and it is my aunt's wedding, and it is in color. That is pretty amazing. I think it had something to do with my dad printing pictures, and he knew how to print in black and white. I'm not sure, but Florida. Okay. Well, it's to Oscar. Probably from a friend. Things from a friend. We are almost done. Slides. Okay. And we'll look at these separately, and we'll talk about slides when we talk about negatives in a future video. Last few things in the box. That projector might still be over there. I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, that's my mom. Like a little Sunday school thing. We pulled out some of the mementos related to church to use at the anniversary events. So, that's my mom. And save these miniatures for your scrapbook. That's funny. Niagara Falls. They're like little bitty postcards. Okay, that'll go in my uncle. Oh, wait, there's one more thing. Happy birthday. 1962. Aw, it's from my cousin. Probably to my uncle, but I'll put it in their pile. Okay, an empty, dirty box. Oh, and then I have, these are all my uncle that I was starting to get together earlier, so I've just got those in a sleeve.
So there you have it. And one thing I didn't tell you at the very beginning that I did before I started, of course, I washed my hands. I had clean hands, but I fed the kitties and closed the door so that nobody would come in and jump on these old pictures, because that would just drive me nuts. What we have done here is sorted things that were in a box. Now, if you're working on a particular heritage album project, that's a separate class, and I can teach it on Zoom. So, send me a comment, send me your info if you would like to sign up for a class to work on a heritage album. This is going through a box and triaging. So these are actually going to go into separate places based on the projects I'm going to do. My uncle's things are going into a file that I have for him, and that's going to eventually go into an album. And it's, I would call all of these heritage albums, but that's what Pam Wynn would call a tribute album. And then my parents, I'm planning to make a tribute album this year. That's another thing, is a deadline. So I'm going to deal with this year. And again, in our next video, we're going to work on scanning. But this has given me a sense of priorities that helps me get through the overwhelm. So instead of having to deal with everything in a big box, very different kinds of things, now I have them in order, and I know that the priority before I give pictures back to my cousins is to scan the things with all of us. Anything with my parents that I'm going to give back, and our grandparents, because those are sentimental to all of us. It's not a lot of cousins. It's a pretty small family, but we all want to copy. We all want to share this. These are such wonderful memories, and some of it, if I could do the scanning and get some things printed, then maybe we could get together and make our albums, and that would be a really fun family thing to do. Let me recap for you. First thing to do is get permission. If you can rearrange, if you can put them in protective sleeves or whatever you plan to do with the pictures. And for me, I had to wait to get permission to rearrange them because I was being very careful about what order they were in. The other thing is to prioritize. Prioritize your scanning projects or any project that you want to do with your borrowed photos. And then scan the photos, which we're going to talk about later. Print them, because that is your best archive, your way to save photos. Digital is a backup, but digital formats change so quickly. Companies go out of business. External hard drives like I have here, they don't last forever. Your computer and your phone definitely don't last forever. Digital is backup, so you do want to print the pictures and then share them. So when you set that deadline, it's so you can actually return the photos. So thanks for joining me. Put any questions you have in the comments, and I will see you next time.